Does that sound familiar? Kind of sounded okay, but then you hit a bar chord and you know that you didn't do it right, and it might have come out okay, but it really didn't sound right and it really didn't feel right, okay? And I don't like what I'm hearing, and I'm getting fed up, and my hand is sore from these stupid bar chords. And to be honest, I'm kind of questioning myself why I really want to play guitar and how I'm going to go about it. Does that sound familiar? All right. If it is, rest assured, this is no gimmick. I've never been very good at, using, I guess, clickbait or fantastic titles to get you to click on any of my videos. All right? But what I am is I'm someone who taught myself how to play guitar, and I didn't do it in one attempt or two attempts. It took me 3 attempts. And those attempts covered almost 3 years until I realized that I was doing it all wrong, right? And I'll bet you out there right now, many of you are going to relate to this, what I have to say. Give me just a few minutes, okay? And I think I can put you on the right path. If you're just starting out, or you've been kind of noodling around and fumbling around for 6 months or a year, and you're not really getting anywhere, and you're not happy, and it's not sounding good, well, if you've been playing a year, it should start sounding really good, okay? So something is wrong, and I know what it is because it happened to me, right? So I'm going to lay it out for you in this video right now. So looking back, nobody, and I mean nobody, anywhere on any of these videos, on any social media platform, or wherever you get your instruction from, nobody ever asked this question of me. And it's so important because it will dictate where you should go. And the question is, hey, why do you want to learn the guitar? And what will you do if you're able to do that? Like, what will you use it for? Now, in my opinion, there's really only 2 answers. There's some gray areas, but they all spawn from one of these 2 answers, okay? So let's look at answer number 1. Answer number 1 is simple. Hey, I want to be a professional. I want to be up on stage in Madison Square Garden, and I want to write music, and I want to be in a band, and I want to do all that stuff, and I want to be a professional musician and make my living off of music. And that's great, okay? So if that is your answer, well, first of all, hopefully you're young, okay? Secondly, I am not the person that you want to follow. So you can pretty much turn this video off and find somebody that will cater to your needs, because you are going to have to learn everything, well, not only learn, but master everything there is to know about the guitar. You're going to have to learn bar chords and power chords and triads and all kinds of theory. You're going to have to play in different genres like jazz and classical. And, quite frankly, it's a lifelong dedication. There's an old saying in a lot of things. It's 10,000 hours to perfect your craft. So when you've put in those 10,000 hours, which really comes down to years and years, then you can sit back and say that I have mastered my craft. So if that's what you want and that's what you're prepared to do, then you now know what your path has to be. You've got to start from the basics, and you've got years and years and years ahead of you. Okay? All right. What if you answered number 2? And number 2 is, hey, I just want to play some songs. I want to have fun. I want to be able to pull my guitar out on a Friday night at a kitchen party and play some songs. That's it. So if that's the case, then I urge you, hit that subscribe button, go through my library, because I know I can help you. because I went from literally zero to hero within weeks. Once I decided, throw all that other stuff out the window. I don't need it. And here's what I did. All right. So I pick up my guitar one day, and in my mind, the last time I played this guitar, it was painful, it didn't sound good, I was frustrated, and I really didn't see any end in sight, and I really didn't enjoy it. And I remember just wanting to put it down, let it sit in the corner, and we'll deal with it another time. So I picked it up one day. I got all, I don't know, I was out somewhere. I think I went to like a music festival, and I got all inspired. So I picked up my guitar the next day, and look, here's what I did. I realized that songs are just chords. That's all they are, okay? And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter how you play those chords. A chord is a chord, a G is a G, and a C is a C, and so on and so forth. And so I just started, what do I know? And I knew G. I was playing it like this way at the time. And I knew C. And I went back to the G. And all of a sudden, I remember thinking to myself, hey, you know what? This isn't too bad. You know, what other chord did I know? Well, I knew an E minor. So now I could play, I mean, it sounded a little bit sort of familiar, but I don't know, but it sounded good. And that's the important thing. So now all of a sudden I'm thinking, hey, let's see where this goes. So I noodled around for an hour or so. I put it down. Man, the next day is like, let's grab your guitar. And I did the same thing. G, C, E minor. And I just tried it in different ways. And, you know, it just sounded good. And then I kind of knew a D. I just had trouble landing it. So, of course, I tried that for a few hours into a couple of days. And next thing you know, my D got better. And yes, I could be speeding things up a little bit. It was a long time ago. But I do remember that D chord came pretty quick, right? So all of a sudden, I know how to play G, C, D, and E minor. So I go to Google and I Google those chords. And lo and behold, there's a list of songs that are like, wow, are you kidding me? I never knew. So I was on my way, and I just picked out one or two of those songs, and I started strumming them, okay? Now, let's stop right there, because to be honest, that's all you need to do, is pick 3 chords from one key. That's the whole idea, because songs are written by chords in a certain key. So, all of a sudden, I could play all these songs. Once I, learned them, of course, but I knew how to play the chords. Now I just had to figure out when to change and how to strum. So I went from hating the guitar to all of a sudden, hey, you know what? There's something here, okay? So all I did is every day played those chords, forwards, backwards, inside out. And now I'm re-inspired. Okay, so now I'm playing all the time, every day. Within a few short weeks, man, I was smooth. I was changing chords. I learned a couple of songs that use those chords. I don't really want to play them because of copyright, but and it all started to come together. Now, as a human being, remember, when we hate what we're doing, when we're not good at what we're doing, when it doesn't sound right, when it doesn't feel right, well, our brain says, hey, shut this down, right? You don't need to go there. Then on the opposite end of the things, when it starts sounding good and you start liking what you do and you're proud of what you do, your brain's like, hey, Pick that guitar up more often. Let's get going. And the whole thing, like anything, like starting at the gym, like starting a weight loss thing, like starting a diet, like starting whatever, cleaning up your room, you got to start somewhere. And once you start and you feel good, your brain provides you the motivation, and the rest just speaks for itself. Now, what you're actually doing, or what I was actually doing at that time, was I was building what I call a guitar foundation. Okay? Left hand, right hand, ear, and brain. Early in your journey, your ear and your brain, they're there, but you really don't know how to use them, and they really don't have the ability to step in because it's all about these two hands. You got to get these two hands working together. Create comfort. When you're comfortable, you're confident. When you're confident, well, you could do anything, right? Right or wrong, good or bad, you'll do it. You'll throw yourself out there and do it. So all of this is happening in a short period of time. Once I had my guitar foundation, now that's something you're going to work on for a long time, but at first it goes pretty quick because you got you're changing chords, you're strumming, and you're just working on that every day. You're getting better and better and better. Now, once you get to the point where this stuff is autopilot, so I could sit there and go G, E minor, not even think about it. I could look out the window and take a phone call and still be able to strum. Once you get there, now you're getting a guitar foundation. Now all of a sudden, things are a lot easier, okay? And when someone says, hey, let's learn that B minor, well, trust me, it's there. You don't have to worry about it. And you're riding a high mentally with your newfound skills. You're playing songs. You're going to open mics. People are complimenting you on how you sound and all that kind of stuff. Your friends are going, wow, I haven't seen you for a month. You're amazing. Look at you, right? And this is all happening in your journey. Of course you're going to be stoked. Now, every time you stop to try to learn one of these new, like a bar chord or triads, oh, should I be learning these triads? I don't know. You know, it takes away. You don't need this. Bar chords and triads are just another way to play chords. Now, down the line in your journey, if you go that far, or want to go that far, you'll realize that, hey, you know what? It really is handy to have another way to play a C that sounds different than the C that I learned, the open C, or the D, or the G, or whatever. And at that point, you can decide to take on another way to play the chords. But by then, you have your guitar foundation. You know what you're doing. So now, it's to the point where, oh, do you want to learn bar chords? Do you want to learn a scale? It'll take you an hour and a half to figure it out, get comfortable. You pick it up again the next day, and you're there. And you're going to laugh at yourself at how easy this is. All this theory stuff, all these, what you're seeing in these videos about notes and fifths and firsts and roots and everything else. It just becomes so easy that it's laughable. And when you look back and go, my Lord, how was I so intimidated by this? This is simple. And it really is that easy once you've built a guitar foundation, okay? So that's what happened to me. That's what took me from a struggling, frustrated early guitar player to someone who can confidently sit down and play hundreds of songs. But more importantly, sit down and learn hundreds of more like that. Okay? Now, just before I leave you, and I don't want you to think this, that I'm discouraging you from learning anything. No, we're talking about pure beginners here. We're talking about you've got to build that foundation. Now, why should you or why would you want to play or learn bar chords in the first place, or triads? Well, it's quite simple. Yes, it's another way to play a G, a C, a D, an E, or whatever. Okay? That's what it is. It's another way. And do you need that right off the bat? No. You got your open way. But somewhere down the road, it's handy to have another way. Because if you're playing with another musician and they're playing G, C, D, well, you might want to play your G, C, D just a little bit different, right? Just because it's going to sound a little bit different than, you hear that sounds different than, right? And it gives you a different voicing option. Now, as far as things like bar chords, you can play sharps and flats. You can play a B flat, for example. There's a B flat bar chord. I can't do that in the open position. I could play a D sharp, for example. Well, I can't play that in the open position unless I use a capo. Now, if I put a capo on one and I play a D chord, there's my D sharp. But that may not work for some of the other chords that I need to play in that progression. So if I'm playing, for example, D, A, B minor, G, and I don't want to play those bar chords, or even just the B minor, I can use my capo. We're not going to get into it right now, but we can use this capo. I'll just put a capo on 2, and now I can play D, A, B minor, G, right? Using my open chords with a capo. So open chords along with a capo, you can play in any key. You can play almost every song ever written. So again, in the early stages of your development, you don't need all these fancy things. And these fancy things are going to take away from you mastering your open chords. So now all of a sudden you're going to play some open chords. Okay, not bad, depends on the day. And you're going to play some bar chords. Okay, not bad, depends on the day. And you might know a couple of triads. Well, you're going to play them okay sometimes, and okay, not. Overall, you'd be a much stronger guitar player by just learning your open chords, learning how to transition, learning how to develop that right hand, because that right hand is your drummer, it's your bass player, it's everything, right? And if you do those things, you are on your path to amateur success. Absolutely. So I hope this video helps. It's, as you found, there's no one way of doing things. This was my way, and it worked for me. And boy, did it work. And it's still working. I'm at the point now where whatever I decide I want to learn, I'm only hours away from really getting it under my belt. That's it. Where in the past it was months. So again, I hope this helps because it's a very important question. So again, ask yourself that question. Why do I want to play guitar, and what am I going to do when I learn to do so? How am I going to use it? And if your answer is number 2, give my path a try. Let me know in the comments where you're at in your journey. What has worked for you? What doesn't? What you don't like? What you do like? Give any tips. We have people in the community always looking for feedback from everybody. So whatever you want to divulge to us about good or bad in your journey, drop it in the comments. And remember, at the end of the day, there really is only one way to get better playing. And that's just play your guitar and have fun doing it. All right, see you later.